I just launched an entire marketing campaign. Market research, positioning, landing page copy, emails, blogs, social content, all running at the same time. No spreadsheets, no switching between 20 different tabs, trying to manage everything manually. Multiple AI agents were planning, coordinating, and executing the campaign for me inside a single Kanban workflow. This is the new Hermes Agents Kanban feature, and it genuinely feels like managing an entire team of AI agents from one dashboard. For this demo, I'm launching a product called Momentum. Momentum is an AI habit tracker that adapts to your natural energy patterns. Most habit apps force you into rigid schedules, but Momentum, it watches your calendar, your sleep data, your stress signals, and adjusts your habit schedule to fit your life. Simple idea, but launching it requires content across every channel. Let me show you how I would build a full launch campaign for Momentum. Before I run anything, I map out the full workflow. This is the task graph. First one, audience research. In this task, I would find who is the Momentum user, what pain points are they Googling, and where do they hang out online. In the next task, based on the audience research, we would define our messaging and positioning, like what's our angle and what problem do we own. This is the foundation everything else would be built on. And now, once the foundation is ready, we fan out 5 parallel writers, all running at the same time. One would work on landing page copy, the one pager that would sell our vision. Next would work on writing SEO optimized blog post. Another would work on our email launch sequence. Another would work on social posts like LinkedIn, X, Instagram, each tailored to its platform. And task 7 would be creating YouTube video scripts. So these are the tasks that our writer agent would perform. And once all these tasks are done, our reviewer agent would step in and review all the content. It would check for things like, does the messaging holds across all the channels? Is the tone consistent throughout all our content? And there would be many more checks. And finally, based on the feedback of our reviewer agent, our writer agent would incorporate all those feedbacks into our content and lock in the outputs. That's it. This is the workflow we would be doing today. Now, to install Hermes Agent, you can do that with just one command. Just copy this command and go to your terminal. Just paste it over here and run it. For Linux and Mac OS, you can run this directly, but for Windows users, install WSL2 and run this command inside your WSL2. Once you run this, it will install all the prerequisites required for your Hermes agent and takes you directly to the setup. I won't be running this again as I've already installed it, but I would just show you how the setup would look like. I would type in Hermes setup. And this is the first thing that you would see after installation. Just go with quick setup and choose any of the listed LLM provider. I will be going with MiniMax as I have the token plan, and then just hit enter. And now it would ask you to set your API key. I already have an API key set in my environment variable, so I will just proceed with that key. I will press enter. Base URL looks good. Let's hit enter. You can select the model of your choice. I would be selecting MiniMax M2.7 model. For terminal backend, I would keep it local. Today, we don't need to set up Telegram or Discord. We can just use a terminal user interface. So I would skip this. And there you go. In just 2 minutes, your Hermes agent is ready. Now, I will create 4 specialist agents. First one, researcher. This agent scans the web, analyzes competitors, mines audience pain points, and delivers structured intelligence reports. Next, we have Analyst. This agent takes the chaos and turns it into strategy, like positioning, messaging angles, differentiators, and market narratives. Next up we have is Writer. This agent turns strategy into content at scale, like creating blogs, emails, landing pages, social posts, and many more things, whatever the campaign needs. And lastly, we have our reviewer. This agent is our quality control system. Checks tone, consistency, accuracy, clarity, and make sure nothing weak ships out. And to create these multiple agents, Hermes uses agent profiles. Each profile gets its own separate configuration that defines how the agent thinks and works. Now, to create your sub-agents, you can use this command, Hermes profile create, and then your agent name. I would give test sub, and this will create a sub-agent named test sub. Now we need to set up this agent, and you can do that with this command, your agent name followed by setup. And let's hit enter. And you can go with the same setup that we did with our default agent. I would go with quick setup. I would go with MiniMax for this one too. I will use the same API key. Base URL looks good. And then the model I would select M2.7. Terminal backend, keep it local. And I would skip setting up messaging platform. And there you go. Our sub agent is ready. Each profile gets a separate folder inside your Hermes config directory. If you open this profiles folder, you can see our test sub agent. It has its own memory, sessions, skills, and a soul file where we can define the agent's persona, roles, and responsibilities. Similarly, I have created our 4 specialist agents, the Analyst, and for this agent, I have updated the soul.md file. I have given special instructions on its roles, responsibilities, output format, quality bar, and how it needs to hand off its task once completed. I will share the soul.md for all these agents, and the link will be in the description. Now, to chat with your agent, you can just type your agent name. In our case, I would just type test sub, and this would start a chat interface in terminal. And you can see our agent is working and responding to our messages. I will close this. Now, one important thing for an agent to act as a researcher, an analyst or writer or a reviewer, it needs to have access to web. For that, we can configure several web search providers. Today, I will show you how you can use Tavily. It has a generous free tier. So, in your browser, just search for Tavily. Go to the Tavily website, and then hit login. And here you can log in with your Google account or create an account on Tavily. And then you can just create an API key, give it a name, hit create, and the API key would be created, and you have 1000 credits per month with the free tier. So just copy this key, then head back to terminal and using this command, Hermes config set Tavily API key, and then paste in your key. And once you set this, your agents would use Tavily as a web search provider. But I am subscribed to MiniMax token plan where they provide MCP server which includes a web search tool. So I have instructed my agents to use that. And to configure the MiniMax MCP server, let's head back to VS Code. And over here in your config.yaml file, using this, you can configure the MiniMax MCP server. And if you add this MCP server configurations in the config.yaml file in your Hermes config directory, then it would only apply to your base agent. For the sub agents, you need to go to the profiles folder and update each agent's config.yaml file. Also, one important tip I wanted to mention over here was when I was running the Kanban workflow, my sub agents were running into authentication error while calling the MiniMax M2.7 model. The MiniMax API key wasn't getting loaded, so I had to explicitly set MiniMax API key in .env file in each of the agents profile directory. Alright, we have our agents ready, we have our task graph. Now let's start setting up our Kanban board. You can do that with just one command. Just type Hermes Kanban init and hit enter. And this way our Kanban board will be initialized. After initializing your Kanban board, you need to start your gateway, and you can do that with this command, Hermes gateway start. And this will start the Hermes gateway. If you look at your Hermes config directory, you can see a new Kanban folder created. Here all the data created on the Kanban board will be stored. The boards that you create and even the logs. Now to actually see your Kanban board, let's head back to terminal and type the command Hermes dashboard and hit enter. This will start your Hermes dashboard at port 9119. Since I already have one dashboard running, it gave me an error, but in your case, your dashboard would start at 9119 port. In the browser, you can just type :9119 and this will start your Hermes dashboard. And on the left sidebar, if you go to Kanban, you would see your Kanban board. Hermes automatically creates a default board, but will create a new board for our momentum marketing launch campaign. So click on this new board over here, give it a name, momentum hyphen launch campaign. And the slug name should always be lowercase letters and separated by hyphens. Let's hit create board and our new board is created. And now let's start creating our tasks. Click on this plus button in the triage column. And here we can give our task title. So first task would be our audience research task. So I'll just copy the task title and paste it over here and click on create button. Now we have our task created. Now let's refine this task. Let's add in description. I have already created task description and titles for all the 8 tasks that we had in our task graph. So I will just copy paste those. Alright, description is added. In the assignee field, you need to enter the agent name as it is you had given while creating the agent. This one will be assigned to a researcher agent. So I just type researcher and hit enter. Now the task has been assigned. This is the priority you can give. 0 is like the highest priority, and we can add parent over here. So right now we don't have any task on this board, that's why this is empty. But in the next task, I will show you how you can add parent task. Alright, let's hit save button. And now let's set the status of the task as ready. Just click on ready. And now as you can see, our task will be moved to the ready column. And now the dispatcher would run every 1 minute and take up all the tasks in the ready column and start processing. And you can see our task has been moved to in progress. And over here you can see the logs of our task. As you can see, it's using the MiniMax MCP web search tool to scrape the web for finding our exact audience for our momentum application. Alright, our first task is done and you can see the task has been automatically moved to the done column. To visualize the outputs of our Kanban task, I had created a custom plugin, Kanban Artifacts. We can check the outputs for this task. It has done a very in-depth research telling us the primary range of our user being millennials and Gen Zs, their tech savviness, the device ecosystem, the pain points of the current habit tracker applications, the platforms that it researched on, the Reddit threads where users are complaining about their issues, and some other social platforms like TikTok and Instagram, and the behavioral patterns of our users, its personas. We also have some key findings. And also at the end, it has listed the sources that were referenced for this research. Alright, let's create our second task now. Hit the plus button on the triage button. Let's copy this task to title, hit paste it, let's create, and now let's open this task. Firstly, let's add the description. We'll copy the description, paste it over here, hit save. Assignee should be Analyst for this task. Now, as we want our Analyst agent to refer the audience research document that was generated in the previous task, we would add the previous task as a parent for this task. And if you click on this add parent, you can see the previous task over here. Just click on that task and add this task as a parent. And let's move the status of this task to ready. And now as you can see, the task has been moved to ready column. If you don't want to wait for 1 minute for the dispatcher to trigger it automatically, you can hit this nudge dispatcher and the task would start processing immediately. Let's open this task and we can see the logs over here. Alright, our second task is also completed. Let's have a look at the output for this task. Message positioning, positioning framework. Alright, it has given a problem statement, target persona, positioning statement, key differences that we can add to our application, a one-liner. And this document was grounded based on our task 1 output of researcher agent. Alright, our first 2 tasks are done. Let's move on to the content generation tasks. And these tasks can run in parallel. So let's head back to Kanban board and start creating our content generation tasks. First will be our landing page task. Let's hit open, add description. Assignee would be writer. Parent should be messaging and positioning. So it would refer the document created by Analyst. Let's hit save and set the status to ready. Now let's create another task. This one is for email. Create. Let's add the description. Writer. Save. Parent should be messaging and positioning. And hit ready. Let's create the social post task. Create, open this task, add the description, writer, save, parent should be messaging and positioning. Okay, let's close this first and I will create the other task first and then move it to ready. Blog post. Save. Writer. Parent should be messaging and positioning. And lastly, we have our YouTube script task. Let's create YouTube script, description, let's copy this description, save it, writer, let's add the parent, messaging and positioning, add the parent. Alright, so all these 3 tasks are created. Let's move them to ready. No. Alright, as you can see, all these 3 tasks are running in parallel. So we can even check the logs. Yeah, it has started. As you can see, it's referencing the positioning document, and alright, almost everything is done now. Alright, only the blog post task is running. Okay, this one is also completed too. Alright, so all our content generation tasks are done. So let's go and check out the outputs. Alright, this is our landing page copy. Okay, headline, subheadline, feature highlights, one-liner, social proof. Looks good. Let's look at our email sequence. First one hook, and then a demo, and then the closing. Next we have our social post. Alright, we got 2 posts for our LinkedIn and then 2 posts for Twitter and then 2 posts for Instagram. And finally for YouTube scripts, it has created a script for YouTube Shorts for a 60-second. Awesome. This looks very promising. Alright, all our 5 content pieces are done. It's time for reviewer agent to step in and review this content for consistency and accuracy. So let's go back to our Kanban board and let's create a task for our reviewer agent. This should be let's copy the title, create, open this task, let's edit the description, copy this, paste it. This should be reviewer. As we want our reviewer to review all the 5 content pieces, we would add all the content tasks as a parent for this task. So let's add the landing page, then the email sequence, social post, blog post, and YouTube script. Alright, all the parent tasks are updated. We added the description, assignee has been added. Let's save the description and let's move this task to ready. Awesome, it's already picked up by the dispatcher and it's in progress. The reviewer agent reads every single content, checks for messaging consistency, factual accuracy, format, and the voice tone. It gates everything until this agent says it's clean to publish. Let's refresh the logs. And the reviewer agent has found a few issues in the emails, in the landing page too. So let's ask our writer agent to incorporate all this feedback into the content, and we will create a new task for it. So let's create a new task. Let's copy the title, finalize, incorporate the review feedback. Let's open this and let's copy the description. Paste it. This should be assigned to writer. Parent should be the review task. Let's add the parent. Let's save it and let's move this to ready. And let's trigger it using nudge dispatcher. Now this task is in progress. The writer agent would go through the feedback given by the reviewer agent and incorporate all those changes into the content. It has modified the emails. Now it's working on the landing page. Let's refresh the logs again and then see what's awesome. All the content has been modified according to the reviewer's feedback. Let's go and check this content again. Let's open our board and the finalize task, and here we have our finalized content. This is the blog post. This is the final email sequence, landing page. Awesome. So our full marketing launch campaign is ready for the momentum application. And to install the Kanban artifacts plugin, I have published this custom plugin to GitHub. You can go to this repo. I have added the link in the description. You can either download this repo or even clone it. Once you have this on your local system, copy this Kanban artifacts directory, and then in your local system, go to your Hermes config directory and paste the Kanban artifacts directory in the plugins folder, like I have it over here. And after that, just restart your gateway and you would have the Kanban artifacts plugin into your dashboard. And if you don't want to use this Kanban artifact plugin, You can check all the outputs of the tasks on this Kanban workflow in the Kanban directory that we have. So here you can see a board has been created, and inside that board we have a workspace, and these are all the tasks. This is the email launch sequence task. This was the audience research brief. This one was a YouTube short scripts. This one is blog post, positioning framework, landing page, social post. And this is our final task. Here's why I think Hermes Kanban is such a big deal. You can build entire team of AI agents with different role, different memory, different responsibilities, and have them work together inside one visual workflow. One agent researches, one writes, one reviews, another handles execution. And instead of manually coordinating everything, the system orchestrates it for you. You are no longer chatting with AI, you are managing autonomous teams. This shift is what makes this so powerful, and that's what I wanted to show you in this video. And if you have a workflow you would want to automate it this way, drop it in the comments. I would love to see what people are building. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one.